I hope you're doing well. Today's video is an exciting one because we are setting up my new Hobonichi Cousin together for the new year, and I'll share how I'm planning to use this as my everyday planner. There will also be a Leelajournals giveaway, so be sure to stay until the end to learn how to enter that one. But anyway, I'm so excited to finally set up my 2025 planner. It's been torture to have this around but not be able to use it. But I was also weirdly nervous about it, and especially about filming this video because this is very new to me. If you're new around here, I've been bullet journaling for the past almost 7 years and making monthly videos about it almost that whole time, and this is the first time I'm changing to a pre-made planner after all that time. So the style and flow of the videos will be a little bit different from what I'm used to, but I'm sure we'll figure it out, and I hope you'll still enjoy watching them. Anyway, I thought we would start from the cover itself because while I think the cover of the Hobonichi is okay in all its simplicity, it looked a little bit boring and non-personal for me, so I decided to add just a few things here to make it feel more special. This was easier said than done because I couldn't help thinking that if I failed the cover, I'd need to look at it for the whole year while regretting my life decisions. So after considering this for honestly way too long, I decided to just add this text pattern stripe to the right side, which was wide enough to cover the Hobonichi title, and then add this big clear flower sticker on top of it. These products are from my own shop, and this flower sticker is one of my own favorites, so I thought it would make it a good choice here. I also used these new clear number stickers to add this 2025 title at the top. And yes, I was sweating the whole time adding these because it was very difficult to keep them all at the same height. And a side note, all the tools and colors of the brush pens I use and stuff like that are listed in the description bar in case there's something I forget to mention. In the end, I wish I had added the numbers a little bit more towards the left, but sometimes trying to fix things creates a bigger mess, and I was sure that would happen if I started to move things around at this point, so we're leaving it like this. And as a last step, I decided to add this small color palette to the corner after thinking about it for like 15 minutes. I was feeling good about the cover at this point. I mean, I know it's nothing special, but it's just a little bit more personal for me while still looking fairly minimal. In the worst case, if I end up hating this in like a few months, I can always cover this up with some colored craft paper. But then I placed the journal into this clear cover to keep it from getting dirty. I saw many people recommending doing this with the Hobonichi journals, so even though I already have this pretty leather cover, I thought it would be better to protect this calendar with a clear one as well. I'm using the Midori A5 journal cover for their Codex journal. They have two sizes of the A5 clear covers, so be sure you buy the one meant for their 1 page per day journal, which is wider at the spine. This one fits the Hobonichi Cousin perfectly while still leaving some room for the journal to get thicker with use, and apparently the regular Midori A5 cover fits the Avec journals perfectly. Anyways, we still have one more thing to do before we move to the inside of the calendar itself, and that was adding these title and number tabs to this side. I watched a lot of Hobonichi setup videos before filming this one, and I especially got a lot of inspiration from Helen from the Coffee Monsters Co. And I just love how her calendars looked with the tabs. I was trying to look for really minimalistic tabs in neutral colors, something that just had the monthly number, but I honestly couldn't find any like that, so I decided to make these tabs myself, and I added them to my shop in case someone else is looking for something like this as well. Adding the tabs was honestly kind of tedious and took me at least 20 minutes or so, so just be prepared. I made these stickers two-sided, so you attach the tab aligning the white space with the notebook page and then fold the tab over from the middle. I definitely made some mistakes here and had to redo a bunch of these tabs, but eventually I absolutely love how they look. I used the green set for the weekly pages and then a regular white for the daily pages. In hindsight, it would have maybe been a better idea to use the white ones on top because I think the green will clash with some of the decorations, but I think it's fine and one of those things that I probably won't even notice when I use the journal. But now we are ready to open up the journal and I decided to first add an extra pocket to this first yellow page. I think this is also something I picked up from Helen's setup videos and it just seemed like a really good idea to have an extra pocket here for any sticker sheets that you either use often or that you're currently using on your weekly or monthly pages. I used a tracing paper for this, which is very close to vellum paper. It's a little bit sturdier and has this frosty, transparent finish that I thought would fit this purpose perfectly. So I measured the size I wanted, added maybe an extra 1.5 centimeters on all sides and used those to fold the edges that we can then glue to the page. I will say that the stickers might get stuck on this lower fold when you put something in here. You'll see me struggling with that a little bit in the video, but if you add like a sturdier sticker sheet under all the other ones, or you could even use one sheet that you glue to the page to create a sort of background that will help all the other sheets to go in more smoothly. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I might do that at some point if I have an empty used sticker sheet laying around. But for now, I think it works just fine. I also have room in my letter cover to store some extra sheets and paper stuff, but I think it's helpful to be able to separate things a little bit, especially if you like to use different types of products. But then let's move on. We can progress exactly one page here because next I decided to use this first white page to write out my word of the year. I like to choose one word at the start of each year. I think I've done this at least for the past 4 years. And this year my word is evolve. I've talked a little bit about my goals to focus on improving my artistic skills in the past few videos and creating time for learning and deepening my skills, especially in painting. So that's something I want to have almost as a theme for this upcoming year. I have noticed that focusing on one thing and getting better at it is actually quite hard for me. I have a pretty short attention span and I like to circle interests and hobbies, so I think this might be a bigger challenge for me than I may be prepared for. But I'm very motivated to at least give it my all. I also hope to evolve to the point where I don't need to sketch these fancy titles with a pencil before actually writing them, but we're not there yet, so I hope seeing my pencil sketches make some of you feel a little bit better. But now, after adding some stars and sparkles around this word, we can finally start to flip through this journal. I will show you all the pages and the structure of this journal, even though I'm not gonna necessarily do anything for some of these pages. For example, this first year at a glance page is one that I honestly don't know if I'll ever use. I thought about adding some calendar stickers or doing something with colored brush pens here just to personalize the calendar, but I thought it would have been a little bit pointless if I never end up using this page. So let's move on, and next we have this kind of future log page, or at least that's what I used to call it in my bullet journal. And I actually have plans for this one. I don't think I would use this section to list any upcoming appointments or stuff like that, because I can just add those to the monthly or weekly pages instead. So I decided to dedicate this whole thing to a workout tracker. I think this spread is great for some sort of daily tracker because it has all the days in a very compact space and kind of has a layout for it already. So I added a quick title here at the top. I especially love this tiny dumbbell icon that is from the Coffee Monsters Co. And then I listed some different forms of working out I typically go for. I mostly do yoga at home, and I know some of you probably don't count it as a workout, but in my books, it counts. I also added power yoga, heat, and walking here. I almost wrote walking or running, but it would have been the biggest lie of the year, and the year hasn't even started yet. I divided the space here with a brush pen so that I also have space to write the duration of my workouts. I always follow yoga or heat routines from YouTube, so it's pretty easy to know exactly how long they are. And then I also wanted to make this total section at the bottom where I can list things up and can easily compare the results with other months. As someone who works from home and also works mostly in front of a computer or a desk, I try my best to get some movement or stretching in many days of the week, so I really hope that this dedicated section will help me to be more motivated. After the future log section, we have a big monthly calendar that I'm mostly gonna use as my social media posting calendar for the videos and kind of as a longer term shop launch and video planner in general. I've done this mostly on my computer until now because I didn't really have a place for it in a bullet journal, but I hope I can move all of that to this planner from now on so that everything is in the same place. I will decorate these calendars later in the monthly planning videos. I did actually use and decorate the December 2024 calendar already with some of my winter collection products and stickers from the Coffee Monsters Co.'s monthly kits. But this looks a little bit fuller and messier than what these calendars will most likely look like moving forward. I don't actually have a calendar set up for this month, so I kind of used this one to mark down a little bit of everything and was just excited to try out different stickers and stuff. But anyway, after the monthly calendars, we have the weekly page section that I believe I'm gonna use most of my time on. Again, I'll probably show myself decorating or using these pages in my monthly videos or as some shorts or reels, but my plan is to use the weekly pages for my daily tasks, maybe to track some habits, sleep, or stuff like that as well. I'm excited to experiment with different styles and methods here, and it will probably take a while for me to find a style that works for me, but that's something we can figure out together throughout the year. I love the timeline grid and that Saturday and Sunday are on their own columns here, and there's also this empty space on the side for any extra stuff. But then after the weekly pages, there's this one empty spread before the daily pages start that I thought was perfect to write about my 2025 yearly goals. There's really no goal page in this journal, so since that's something that I personally always want to write out, I decided to craft it myself. And I chose to use some of these newer products from my shop. These are from the same collection as the flower sticker I used on the cover. And I haven't had a chance to use this flower washi tape for anything yet, so I thought it was a perfect opportunity. I will say that I think it will take me some time to get used to the paper in this journal. I've been using 160 GSM thick, heavy bullet journal paper for the past 6 years, so the Tomo River paper in this journal feels very light and almost flimsy for me. It is sturdy though and doesn't have any bleed through even with fountain pens, so it's just one of those things I'll need to slowly get used to. The colored paper I wrote the goals title on is one that I've printed on white sticker paper, and I actually have a lot of textured papers and color palettes like this for scrapbooking available to download for free on my shop website, so I'll make sure to leave a link to that in the description as well. And yeah, I didn't do anything special here, so I decided to start by writing out more longer term goals or vision. So what I want my life to look like in 5 years, and then I left another space to write about my thoughts and ideas for the next year. On the next page, I started by adding these 5 number stickers where I list 5 specific goals or topics I want to focus on next year. And then lastly, I used the bottom half to list some good habits I want to try out or keep and bad habits I want to quit. I always have a lot of motivation to concentrate on stuff like this after the new year, so I hope I can make some changes that stick at least a little bit longer. Then I added a few matching decorations also here in the bottom corner. I'll fill this spread later with better time, so now let's continue our flip through. So next in this journal we have all the daily pages, and what I really like is that there's this one extra page at the start of each month. I think I'll use that to make some sort of scrapbooky monthly cover in all my monthly plan with me videos moving forward. I'm planning to still have a specific theme for each month, so I'll use certain colors or types of decorations on the weekly pages, for example, and try to challenge myself a little bit that way. I don't know how strict I'm gonna be about that in the daily pages though, so my plan currently is to use the daily pages for any daily journaling, and I also made a list of 120 journaling prompts that I'll show you later, which I can also use if there's not really anything special that happened on a certain day. Again, this might change a little bit once I actually get to use this journal. The daily journaling aspect is definitely the most challenging for me, I think, because I haven't really done that in my bullet journal, but I have had a separate diary type of journal on the side that I've used every now and then, so I'm excited to at least give it a go. But then after the daily page section, we have a few empty pages. I think there are exactly 6 pages in total, and I've already used 2 of them, one for all my Tombow brush pen swatches and one for my fountain pen ink swatches. If you saw my recent stationery haul video, you might notice that there are 3 new fountain pen inks added here. I got them on my recent trip to Tokyo, and I feel like now the only color I'm kind of missing is a good blue ink. But anyway, something I still wanted to add to this journal was a swatch page for my most used watercolor palette. I have these swatched in my old full sketchbook, and I need to dig that up at least once a month when I need to write the color names I used in a video or somewhere, and I just want to have those names somewhere more convenient. I've seen people actually using watercolors in this journal, which was quite surprising for me, but yeah, the paper holds up pretty nicely. Of course, it's not real watercolor paper, so the blending experience is not very good, and you'll definitely wrinkle the pages if you do this, but I think it was pretty impressive that there are literally 0 playthrough even from watercolors. But after my quick watercolor swatches, we still have a few things to go through, and next I wanted to use my last empty spread here to make a yearly budget tracker or page. This is something I also always had on my bullet journals, and I know I'll need it, so I decided to sacrifice this one spread for it. There was quite a lot of ghosting and wrinkles from the watercolors on the other side, so I thought we could distract the attention from that by using a little bit darker decorations on this spread. So I have this black foiled washi tape that's from my Starborn collection that I don't think I've ever used anywhere, so it seemed like the perfect opportunity to use it. Again, I was slightly struggling to attach the tape to the top and bottom of these pages, but eventually it worked out just fine. I also needed to whip out my new academia pet tape just to get these tiny clip stickers, and I added some extra stars on this page just because I had the tape open. Anyway, as someone who works for myself, having an idea of my monthly income is quite important. It also changes a lot for me from month to month, and my income is kind of separated into a few different streams. So I like to use these pages to count the total amount and also track our household savings and stuff like that a little bit. I do think that a page where you list your income and maybe savings or bigger purchases would be helpful for anyone, no matter if you're self-employed or not. But in that case, maybe seeing everything in one place like this is not really necessary. I used these number stickers here again, and I think this is exactly what I'll need in all its simplicity. After this, we have a few other extra pages in the Hobonichi journal. I actually didn't end up using any of these, at least for now. I saw some interesting ideas, for example, to use the timetable page for your color palette of the month, and that's something I might do as well. I also saw a lot of people using the craft page to track their weight or something like that. I think I might do that as well, but it's maybe something I don't need to share in my videos. There are also a bunch of other pages like addresses, gift ideas, and these general information pages that are all in Japanese. They are interesting to me as someone who actually lives in Japan, but I can imagine that for most foreigners using these journals, it's a bit pointless to have these pages in the back. I saw some people actually covering these up with white paper and using this space for something else, so that's definitely an option. One page I found quite interesting is this one that lists all the years and how old a person born in a certain year will be this year. Anyway, so we are skipping all of this for now, and the last thing I wanted to add was my 120 journaling prompts list that I used way too much time writing. I just found these prompts from the internet, listed them up, and printed out on regular copy paper that I attached to the back of my journal where I can easily access it when I need to. I will also add this list to the free section of my shop in case some of you want to print it out too. I made a small box next to each prompt that you can use to check off the ones you've used. And I thought I was realistically not gonna do this every day of the year, so 120 seemed like a pretty good number for me. It's roughly one prompt for every 3 days, so I guess that's a pretty good goal to keep up with. The first ones are more related to the yearly goals and yearly reflection, but otherwise I try to make a list of different prompts from kind of easy and funny ones to more self-reflective or self-growth related ones. I just used washi tape here so that I can easily flip this over at some point, but now I think we're officially done with my Hobonichi setup. I still have another journal that I quickly want to share with you, and this is one that Artie from Leelajournals kindly gifted to me. And not only that, but she was so kind to offer to do a giveaway on my channel so that one of you will win one of her notebooks and one pet tape of your choice. All you need to do to enter the giveaway is to write a comment to this video about which of her journals you'd like to win. I'll link her shop to the description so you'll easily find it, and you have until December 20th when I'll finally choose the winner randomly using some sort of comment selection tool. I'll post the winner on my Instagram stories and also as a community post here on YouTube, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. The winner needs to contact me because unless you want to share, for example, your Instagram handle in that same comment, there is really no way for me to contact you through YouTube. Anyway, that's it about the giveaway. And I know I said I'm not gonna start a new bullet journal anymore, but when Artie offered to send me one of her journals, I couldn't resist this absolutely gorgeous B6 size rose spellbook journal, which is slightly smaller than my old A5 bullet journal. Her notebook designs are honestly on their own level. I've been using her journal as my bullet journal for the past 6 months and it's absolutely beautiful as well. And I decided to use this new one as my everything journal, as I named it on the cover page. So I already started to use it, and I'll just quickly show you this cover spread that I made using some of my Leelajournals products because I thought it was only fitting. And so far I've used this to list all the digital bullet journal themes I'll need to update and to write about my winter launch thoughts and reflections for the future. So I think there will be things like this that I can't necessarily fit into my Hobonichi, which is why I really like the idea of having this smaller journal on the side that I can use for as long as it gets full, and I don't need to worry about keeping it pretty or in a certain theme or anything like that. But yeah, I guess that's finally all for this video and for my 2025 journal lineup. I will be continuing a reading journal for the next year as well, but that will be a whole separate video. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you got some new ideas out of this. I'll post the first January setup video next week, so stay tuned for that. And if this was your first time around here and you'd like to stay tuned for more, definitely consider subscribing. I hope you're having a lovely day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye!